As I often do, I sit around and I think about football. I think about the Pittsburgh Steelers in particular a ton. But when I look at this offense, at least on paper, I think there's a potential for some really big things.
Power takes an approach as a coach.
Let's go. Let's go.
It's a field back block, and
This is the guy that rolls his body around.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's dive into that Steelers offense and let's really look at the potential for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2025 and what they could quite possibly be able to do, and the flexibility that adding a guy like Jonnu Smith, DK Metcalf gives the Pittsburgh Steelers. You look at that young offensive line. They are very highly athletic and young, and if perhaps they gel and they come together, that could be a really bright spot. But when you look at the weapons that are at the disposal of Aaron Rodgers, you look at the tight ends, you look at what the Steelers are going to be able to do in terms of the wide receiver room also right now. And do the Steelers really truly need another wide receiver? I don't know if they have to do that. Now, if the right deal comes available and it's not financially a burden, it's not a burden in terms of what you have to give up in draft capital, then do it, yes. But if you have to make some crazy deal, you don't do it, because I don't think you need it. If you look at an offensive set consisting of DK Metcalf, Calvin Austin, or Roman Wilson, they could be interchangeable out on the edges. So DK Metcalf, Austin, and Wilson could be interchangeable as the edge guys. Then you bring in two tight ends, I mind you, that can also play as a slot wide receiver, a Pat Freiermuth and a now Jonnu Smith. Those guys now give you flexibility. You have three big body wide receivers, but you still have the speed and the athleticism of Calvin Austin that can absolutely blow the top off of a defense, or perhaps a Roman Wilson providing that speed and being able to blow the top off the defense. Also, you look at DK Metcalf, a big body guy, but tremendous speed and does have the ability to blow the top off the defense. So now you look at that four players that are now big body, fast, highly athletic, can move around and shuffle. You can utilize Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith in the slot position. Jonnu Smith can also be motioned back to the backfield, giving him a lead block assignment as a fullback, giving the Steelers tremendous flexibility. And I don't know if a ton of people are out there really looking at this and looking at the way the Steelers could really attack somebody, potentially attack an opposing defense this season. Again, when you have those double tight ends in there, you are able to now still convert back into heavier sets. Like I mentioned, moving Jonnu Smith back to fullback, sliding him back into the tight end spot, or sliding Pat and Jonnu both out and creating a four-wide situation for the Steelers. Also, you have the potential now with the running backs, the Caleb Johnsons, the Jalen Warrens, two guys that can hit a home run, two guys that can take over a football game, hopefully, for Johnson. We know Warren can do it, but Johnson has tremendous potential. So there's Kenneth Gainwell in that situation also. So you have those three guys in the backfield, but you have Jalen Warren, who could be back there in those four wide sets. That's a tremendous back out of the backfield, catching passes that can be a safety valve for Aaron Rodgers, but also provide top shelf, high level blocking in the backfield in the pass game. A guy that is one of the league's best at pass blocking, at pass protection for the running back position. So again, you look at that flexibility there, and that is something I think is being extremely overlooked. Everybody wants to talk about going out there, getting another wide receiver, and that's all well and good. You never hurt to have more players. I never, ever want to say, oh, don't go get somebody that's going to improve your football team. You always add talent. You always add athletes if It is feasible. You don't go out there and make any type of stupid moves. And I think Omar Khan has done an excellent job of that this offseason. He's not made those stupid moves, those high cost moves. He's not done that. And I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have definitely given themselves and Arthur Smith an excellent opportunity here. Like I talked about with those four guys, those four players that could give you the tremendous opportunity and flexibility of still playing a more heavy packaged personnel type offense, or create a four wide offense and really be able to mix things up in terms of speed and rhythm, in terms of what you're able to do. You could go that fast-paced route. You could also slow it down and run the football without giving the opportunity for the defense to substitute players and creating a ton of mismatches, hopefully, for the Pittsburgh Steelers because of the body styles and the athletes that they have out there on the football field. I mentioned the offensive linemen at the beginning of this show. I mentioned how they are young, super athletic, guys that could, on paper, potentially blow up into one of the league's best. Let's be real honest about it, because why? They're a bunch of high-value draft capital guys that were highly touted, guys that have tremendous abilities. And now we just got to see those abilities come together as a cohesive group and be put onto the football field, be put on display for the Steelers to utilize. But what those guys give you, that offensive line, that young group, when we talked about the wide receivers and their flexibility, you talk about this offensive line also in its flexibility. The Steelers have been known to be a team that loves to pull their offensive linemen, get them out in space, and allow them to work down into the second and perhaps third levels of an opposing defense, giving the Steelers tremendous yardage in the run game. That's what they really want to do. They want to be able to run the football down your throat. Well, you're going to be able to do that all in the meantime while having bigger body guys in the wide receiver department, guys in the tight end room that are bigger body, being that first wave of blocking attackers. Now, you've already initiated with those bigger body wideouts and tight ends, you've already initiated those blocks. You've already initiated that flow. Now you're bringing the monsters behind them on the pull, getting those young athletic offensive linemen out in front of the running back. Now they are immediately able to hopefully get to that second level, springing guys like Jaylen Warren for home run hits, man. And that's what you're looking for with Jaylen Warren, a guy that can hit a home run anywhere on the football field. Caleb Johnson does possess that potential also, but he, in my eyes, is more of a grind you down type guy, a guy that's going to gain, 5, 6, 7 yards at a clip, continue to move the chains. But when you get two waves of potentially big-time blockers out in front of these highly athletic running backs, guys that are extremely good at what they do. When you get those two waves of blockers out in front, they're going to be very difficult to bring down. They're going to be very difficult to get a hold of. And that is something that, if you're the Steelers, has to give you a lot of excitement. And when I envision the Steelers this offseason, and Arthur Smith and Mike Tomlin and Omar and all the guys, all the coaches sitting around talking about the potential that they have on this football team, these are the conversations that I can envision them having. And I don't think a lot of the fan base really looks at this and looks at the nuts and bolts of what they could potentially be able to do if you have a guy like Arthur Smith who can work an offensive system into utilizing these tight ends. And the Steelers went out there and they got guys. They paid Pat Freiermuth, an excellent pass catcher, a guy that needs to be utilized a lot more. They had the Jonnu Smith trade coupled with Jalen Ramsey, but you get Jonnu Smith, who's now a big body guy who can block, who can catch passes, had, I believe, 8 touchdowns last year for 884 yards on 88 catches. A guy that catches the football a lot, a guy that's not afraid to go over the middle, a guy that's not afraid to block down the field, a guy that can be utilizing those combat catches. So the flexibility is really the whole point of this, and that's why of this show, really. And Do you really have to go out there and overspend on a wide receiver, another wide receiver to add to that room? The answer to that question is absolutely not, and the Steelers know that. You may not know it as a fan, and that's okay. Maybe you're not looking at the nuts and bolts like we just described, but now we give you this blueprint of potentially what this offense could look like. But if you're the Steelers, you haven't jumped the gun. You haven't went out there and went off crazily and made stupid moves. Omar Khan has held his cards tight to his vest, maintaining that tremendous amount of draft capital that they possess in 2026. They were never going to take 13 players, 13 draft picks next year in 2026. They weren't going to do it. I think that's what they had. So they're going to utilize some of that here this offseason, and they have already. And they've gained some back even. But yeah, the Steelers got flexibility. And I think you as a fan out there need to really look at that flexibility and look at what each player can do and what they can provide. And if you put your offensive coordinator hat on and you say to yourself, what could I do with this group of men out there on the battlefield? What could I do with them? How could I move my chess pieces around to best serve me as an offensive coordinator? It has to be a formation similar to this because, again, you can slide those tight ends into the double tight end sets. You can move a tight end in, bring in a fullback, Jonnu Smith. The tight end slides back out of the slot, back into the fullback position. Now you have a lead blocker plus bigger body guys out there on the edge already in a DK Metcalf, Patrick Freiermuth already out there as that first wave. Jonnu Smith is the fullback incorporated into that first wave. Now we have linemen pulling, creating that second wave, giving big time opportunities for the Steelers in the run game. And that's exactly what they did this offseason. They ensured that they are going to have quality blocking, not just in the first initial contact of not just right when the ball is snapped, but they are going to have continual blocking downfield, and they have ensured that. And I think quietly they've done that over the last several years, drafting guys like Troy Fautanu, Zach Frazier, guys that can get out there on the pull, guys that are highly athletic, that are known for blocking down the field in the second and third levels throughout their collegiate career. And the Steelers have built that quietly without much fanfare, without a ton of people talking about it. And the Steelers knew the assignment. They understood exactly what they needed to do. And this is going to provide this Pittsburgh Steelers offense with something that could potentially benefit Aaron Rodgers in a huge way. And you might see a massive, massive year from an old man. And that's no bullshit. That's real honest. And there's real potential there. And it's on paper. It's on paper. But will they be able to convert from what's on paper? Will they be able to convert that into being the offense that I speak of? But man, do you have tremendous potential there. You have tremendous flexibility. You're also can't discount guys like Darnell Washington, guys like, again, Roman Wilson that could be rotated into that. Just the flexibility of this Steelers team and the new look defensive unit that I think could be really, really good, even with the subtraction of a Minkah Fitzpatrick. I think TJ Watt needs to get his name signed right on the dotted line real quick because this Steelers team has some tremendous potential, and this could be a absolute wild ride here in 2025 for Steeler fans. All right, guys, we'll try to go live at some point today. Football practice is starting to ramp up for the youth team that I help coach. So that's starting to ramp up. So we'll see about what time I go live. Maybe we're going to have to start to move the lives back to a little bit later like we normally do during youth football season for me, since I do coach. But, man, we got a tremendous group of young men. It's going to be an exciting year for us in the youth area. I also want to ask the fan base out there if you guys want to start to see the journey of a youth football coach. I've Malik and I, a guy that I coached with last year, Malik, we tag teamed as head coach last year. So we got some good experience. We coached the year prior. So we've been doing this for several years. Now we're moving up to another division. and we're coaching with another friend of ours, Frank. So we're going to be coaching older kids. So we're going to start to work into that and start to learn that process as coaches, getting up there, moving up with older kids. So if you guys want to start to see that type of journey and perhaps maybe start to see, some of the things that I talk about and bring that to the table here for the channel, adding, another playlist maybe about youth football coaching, about the trials and tribulations of how the season goes and how you handle it. If that's something, fans would be interested in, I think it's something that I'd be interested in doing. I can maybe see about, video and some of it, but that's something that, I would have to figure out. You got to get permission from people and all that stuff. So potentially that wouldn't happen, but we'll see. We'll see what we can do. But you never know. Maybe we'll get some of those kids that want to come on and talk about youth football too. You never know, man. I just been kicking around the idea and thinking it would be something really cool to expose youth football and to put a lot of eyes on it because yeah, we have a good turnout for our youth team, but I can see the decline in tackle football in terms of the youth at a young age playing youth football in terms of tackle football. And maybe if we put more eyes on it and bring it back to the limelight here, maybe it'll do a little justice and help promote the game around the world, around the country. Maybe that's something interesting that we can do. So until later today, hopefully, I'll let you guys know. Make sure you are subscribed and you turn on your notification bell. And we will let you know every time we go live. So hopefully, probably about 8 o'clock tonight, I'll go live. If I do a live, that's probably what we'll do. Again, we got to work out the schedule again now that it's changing. We always do this every year. This is our third year now doing it. So we've done 2 years in the books of changing our schedule around, but now we're embarking on that third year. And let's see what kind of ride it will be. Let's see if we can get to that 10,000 subscriber mark. We're damn near 5,000. So let's try to get to 10, 20,000 here, and maybe adding some new stuff will help us get there. So thank you for your support. Thank you for liking all the videos. Thank you for following us over on TikTok, Facebook, and X, and also subscribing here on YouTube. And we are out. Peace, my friends. See you on the next one. I'm Jason. Until next time.
Power takes an approach as a coach.
Let's go. Let's go.
It's a field back block, and that's